be able to thank you all for showing up on this sunny afternoon. We are here to acknowledge, to recognize, and to mourn the life and loss of my baby brother, Eric Friedman. It's also Passover, another reason to be gathered together. Elie Wiesel wrote, "Passover is a cry against indifference, a cry for compassion." This room is filled with tables, but the tables are missing chairs. Not only Eric, but cognizant of others, fathers, mothers, siblings, and friends. We are on the pathway from grief through mourning. We remember. I was 9 when Eric was born, Paul too. He was and remained a force of light and life. He boldly went in search of new adventures from his earliest childhood. I remember being called back from the Rosenbergs because he had broken his arm, and somehow Mom couldn't be disturbed. She was at the hairdresser, and off we went to the hospital. He was an explorer, curious, without fear. When Dad died, Eric moved in at 17. We grew closer, an older sister and son. Eric liked to extend his limits, his love of mountains, hiking, biking, water, windsurfing, and scuba diving. We went diving in Mombasa. They warned us of stonefish, which are deadly. And Eric wanted a briefing. How deadly was deadly? You know, and what anecdotes did they have just in case? He craved the solitude and the companionship and competitiveness of team sports like hockey and his youth football. His football high school team were Ontario champions. Paul and I filled in for Dad and went to more Colts stadiums and arenas to watch him play than I can remember. Eric was funny. He brought home a report card once that said Eric and the class would learn more if Eric would stop falling out of his chair and getting everyone to laugh. His empathy made him a stellar physician. I knew if a friend or colleague needed medical advice, I only had to call and he would speak to that person, giving time and expertise. He was artistic. John and my home is filled with Eric treasures, especially of our beloved Bassett Joshua. Eric and I have a large mask and artifact collection to remind us of our travels, including the trip to Kikuyu to visit him when he was running a hospital in his 20s. Good stuff for Eric included a buffalo skull from Kenya or a Samburu mask for me with real cow's teeth. Eric collected stuff, good stuff, mainly sports related, anything hockey or bikes. Perhaps a legacy of my mom, who denied herself in the short term and at 43 never got to enjoy a long term. If he wanted it, and Nancy said it was okay, it became his. These brought him joy. His children too brought him joy. Wonder that they were growing into capable adults. He was in awe of Sarah's technical skills, her innate teaching skills, and that Josh could design, build, and repair anything. When he didn't know, if it wasn't medicine, then the kids or Nancy would make it right. Nancy was and remained the love of his life from Camp Manitou on. He trusted her implicitly. He took her advice even when at first it didn't seem that way. She was his rock. We spoke every week, telephone, Zoom. We were always connected, my baby brother and I. I always ended with, I love you, and I will love you, and Eric, I will miss you as long as I live.
The wind beneath my